action, pumping and dumping, manipulate the market, flooded from the darknet, flooded from the deep web, keep it a secret. Every exchange got the nerdy brains trading on the frequent.
Hello, everyone out there. Hopefully, I'm not chipmunking right now because there's such a delay that I have to go look at this. So, if you can't hear me or if I'm chipmunking, which is where I sound all squeaky, please let me know in chat. Hi, everyone out there. It's been a while. It's been a very long while. Actually, we're about to find out in a second if I'm chipmunking or not, so stay tuned. Perfect audio. At least one of the pieces of tech is working today. Hi, everyone out there. I'm Sidepocket. That's what people refer to me on the internet. I'm one of the two co-founders of DCG 201, formerly known as DC 201 and DEF CON 201. We are a computer hacker collective group, tinkerer, crazy people. Who basically meet up, let me close this out, meet up once, third Friday of every month. In fact, we were supposed to have a meeting on the 18th of this month, and then we delayed it to the 25th. And unfortunately, which is going to be kind of a pattern today, a bunch of stuff happened where basically we have no meeting this month. We're looking into a small thing for like the 30th, just in case anyone feels the blues about meeting up, whether it's online or in person. But we are already well on track to have our meeting at Subculture and live streamed on the third Friday of July, which is the 16th. So I'm really excited for that. If you want to know more about our meetings and what we do, here is our website at www.defcon21.org. And if you want to follow us on social media, such as we're on, probably our biggest one is on Twitter at defcon201nj, or just defcon201 on Instagram, GitHub, the hoststux.social instance of Mastodon, as well as our super secret .onion site and more. I just put in the link tree where you can go in and check all that out. Also, normally this is where I would post where you'd be able to interact if you're on Facebook chat, but according to the stream, we are currently not streaming on Facebook. I have to do a thing. Sometimes it gets confused and I have to like reconnect it and disconnect it, and it's been so long since we streamed that I forgot to do that. So future stream that will happen. I also want to make a note while we're here that because of my scheduling tomorrow, there will be, as far as I know, there will be no Master of Unlocking episode. I don't think I'll have time to pre-record something, unfortunately. Instead, everything will resume its normal scheduled programming on July 4th, ironically, the 4th of July. So we're going to have a very patriotic Master of Unlocking. So that should be really cool. Welcome to this show. Also for those who are wondering, we haven't been live streaming very much recently because, basically it sucks so much because like this is the month of Pride and this is also the month where we celebrate Native American heritage, which unfortunately Canada is celebrating by finding mass graves everywhere. And Juneteenth recently happened, which was the day after a meeting where we recognize the notification of basically when certain states, including Texas, that the Emancipation Proclamation happened. And so it's become a big federal holiday for African Americans to celebrate, even though corporate society kind of turned it to the let's pretend to be nice to African Americans day and also have a day off from work. So we should be happy and everything. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with DCG 201 stuff at all. It's just all of our staff got tugged up and stuff. G.I. Jack had to go on a hiatus essentially for a month. Circel, who's normally here with me for tech, he's dealing with his own problems, literally moving between states back and forth. And I've been dealing with a type of drama that literally makes any of the hacker drama. I'll put it this way: the drama I've been in with the rest of my friend circles that have nothing to do with hackers have made it so that the whole alt-right invades Circle of Hope for Chelsea Manning thing just looked like a bunch of old women arguing about I'm trying to think of something old women argue about old movies or how to crochet something compared to the BS I've been dealing with. So, and because everything's been reopening and a lot of my friends are performance artists, I've been just dragged to like every time I go to an event. I'm going to one tonight. This is why it's going to be a very short episode. It's probably be like half an hour at most. I end up skipping 5. And so a combination of me being dragged everywhere by my performer friends, plus all of the crazy drama stuff that's been happening in my personal life, I have not been here. But even though I should be out right now, I really want to live stream. I have the ability for Crypto Barons because I don't know if we're going to have a Master of Unlocking tomorrow. It seems like we're not, and we're just going to do July 4th. Hey, patriotic time. So here we are with the live stream. So welcome to Crypto Barons. This is where we look at actual blockchain technologies, such as this actual blockchain that GI Jack always donates us, as well. Oh, there goes our stream. As well as trying to see which part of the lens. There we go. As long as cryptocurrencies and like you know most shows, we do cover bits of market and we have looked into communities in the past, but what we're kind of interested more of is like, what are the backstories behind these? What sort of tech do they use? What's the math that they use in order to do this tech? Is there code? Can we look at the code? Can we run the code? Can we look at the testnet? Can we try to load the wallet? Can we make a transaction? It's all about the actual fundamental building blocks of all this stuff. Now, originally, and I apologize for the title, originally, we were also supposed to cover masternoding and the Polygon network because we couldn't get the laptop to connect over. And again, because Cyricel has been dealing with his own personal stuff, he hasn't really been here to set this up. And I'm really nervous about trying to do the masternoding on the streaming machine because the requirements for the machine, and we're running a monster machine, by the way. That's why our live streams are as decent as they are, because we're literally running like a gamer PC essentially to do live streaming. And we have an ultra super laptop here because the demands to run the masternode is so big, especially like the bandwidth for the internet, that I'm afraid not only will the stream die, but I will just kill this machine entirely. So because of those factors, unfortunately, the next Crypto Barons, which will be July 10th, we do every second and fourth Saturday of the month. That is where we'll go back to bit. We'll try to do the masternode and then cover some other topic. Unfortunately, we're not going to do that today because originally the other topic, which is why it's going to be such a short episode, is supposed to be like a half stream, it's supposed to be like a half an hour topic, but that hasn't happened because I, again, don't want to kill any hardware. So what are we going to look at today? Well, what we're going to look at today is, if you haven't heard, there's been a person in the hacker scene, and it's weird because people know him now for the cryptocurrency scene, but like he's really been in like the computer and hacker scene forever. And he mysteriously died a couple of days ago, and that's just putting it lightly. We're going to get into a little bit of details of that. We're going to kind of break down like what's a conspiracy theory, what isn't, all the stuff they did. Then I have a short video to play, and we're going to be good with the episodes. Again, it's going to be a very short episode, so if you like Crypto Barons, but you don't have enough time to sit and watch these like 1 to 5 hour episodes, well, this is going to be the episode for you. It's because basically we're going to cover the great question mark, John McAfee. At least he's infamous. That's what I'll give him. He's infamous. Also, as GI Jack and I have pointed out, let's rehydrate real quick. There's a very, very fine line between being, which is what he called himself when he was alive, a biohacker, where he uses outside chemicals and equipment to modify his body to explore boundaries of the human experience, and substance abuse. What I've said about it is that John McAfee, when he was alive, snorted that line, and that's why he has no idea what galaxy he was currently in. So we're going to take a look at the man, myth, and the legend in a bit. We're going to see a nice video. We're going to go raid a Twitch stream. I'll drop off some lemons if anyone's watching on DLive. It'll be great. Speaking of watching on DLive, you probably noticed the counter above me. That's 95 out of 100 followers. That's the followers we have on DLive. If you like the content that you see today, even though this is going to be a very short live stream episode, you can follow us on Twitch, DLive, and YouTube. We're also, because Facebook is out, on PeerTube, and all the people watching us through Tor, you are the elite hacksaws. And when you follow us, we get notifications. I cheer people on. But we particularly, especially on Crypto Barons, are interested in getting 100 followers on DLive because once we get 100 followers, we've reached all the criteria because we already have everything else check marked off. But once we get like 100 followers, 101 followers, and we keep that there for like a week or two, we can apply to be what's called a cryptocurrency superstar. And I really try to say that without saying that 90s sketch phrase from SNL. But we get to be a cryptocurrency superstar, and that will not only allow us to do more stuff using the DLive live stream on Crypto Barons, but also allows us to do a hell of a lot more with DLive in general and DCG 201. So particularly if you're on DLive, following us on any of these platforms are completely free. You can go and hit follow on DLive. If you know someone on DLive, just tell us to follow us. They don't even have to watch any of the stuff we do. Just tell them to follow us. We just need literally 5 more people at some point, and we get to apply for that and make all the live streaming better. And also, I like my lurkers, as I always say. If you're here to learn, you can keep lurking and keep learning. But I also really like talking to chat, even though this is going to be a short episode. So if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, as long as they're in the realm of sanity and I don't have to ban you, please do so. I love shouting things out and talking to people in chat. Some of our best episodes have been conversations between us and the chat. Otherwise, I always say, keep lurking and keep learning. So let's look at the man, shall we? We're gonna go over to the viewing screen here. Here we go. Okay, so this is the website that Siricel built. You'll notice that it says our last meeting was May 21st, because again, even though we're gonna try to look for something really small on the 30th, we didn't really have a meeting this month just due to all the insane. It sucks because it's like everything opened up. We were so excited to meet partly in person. We had all this content lined up and everything, and then there was a bunch of things that happened when it came to the content side of like emails and timing, but a lot of it had to do with just all of our stuff in our personal lives just killed everything. And we have a thing about DCG 201 where if you want to go to our meeting, but like you broke your arm or your sister's in labor or whatever, go to that. Don't care. We always have these meetings. So we're just going to look forward to the one in July. And we already have all the stuff lined up in July. I just have to send a couple of confirmation emails, and I'm really excited for that meetup. And the content we're going to do this one will either make it its own special, or if we don't have any like DEF CON stuff in August, I might move all that stuff to August. Maybe we'll move this all to like November. We'll see. I want to do it sooner though. So anyhow, let's look at this guy. Oh, and before we do, I want to point something out here, and I think this is really awesome. So, as I said, it is Pride Month. This is where people, LGBTQ plus, which covers all different fields, no matter what type of gender or sexual preference you are, get to. Every day is basically Pride. We should be able to go out and like celebrate who we are, because let's put it this way: none of us are Epstein. Okay. That we should just get everyone, straight, gay, whatever, should just get stars just for not being Epstein or supporting Epstein. There's people who are still walking around free, who have associated with Epstein. Also, a lot of big people in tech too, and former people in our government, and they're worrying around free. Meanwhile, people are worried about what bathrooms are being used. So we should be celebrating every day, but particularly this is a month where, because the Stonewall riots happened in New York, which is where we're near 201, we're next to New York. It's literally right across the smelly Hudson River. This is where like all those types of people get to kind of really come together as a focal point and celebrate who they are. And if you are into cryptocurrency and blockchain tech, let me hydrate here. Hydrate squad. And you want a cool way to celebrate it before the month ends, check this out. I just found this out a couple of days ago. This is actually one of the reasons why I was excited to live stream. This is called NF Tripping Down the Rabbit Hole. And what it is it's in New York. It's going to be a physical thing. I am not sure if you need like proof of vaccination or not. You might want to contact like the organizers about that, because I haven't read anything that details it does that. So if you're in the New York area and you really like cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency act, this is going to be really neat, because there's going to be a bunch of drag queens there. It's a whole drag queen performance. There's going to be Jaquita, Nikki Otev, God Complex, Neon Calypso, Junior Mint. I won't say who, but 2 of these people are like good associates of mine. And I'm not just doing that for them. Also, the high end, because I think now it's in the expensive range. Was it the high? You can it's as low as 15. I think it's now like $35. I think the early bird sales were 15. It goes all the way up to $69. Nice. But what makes this really neat, as it kind of says in the title, and I'm going to read this here, is 6 of New York's iconic drag artists have teamed up with Convicts and God Complex, good associate of mine, to produce this show. And in addition to the rainbow-hued, like fireworks, crazy gayness, pride stuff, Convicts is dropping digital merch featuring each drag artist. Basically, when you sign up for this, you get to get an NFT image. So remember that episode where we covered NFTs and all that? You can go after the stream and check that episode. They're creating NFT images that are basically trading cards of the drag performers. So kind of like with baseball cards, when you go to see this, you know how sometimes you go to a concert and you'd come back with a limited edition poster. Well, in this case, you get a NFT of your favorite drag star on the way back. And what's kind of funny about this is that it's going to be minted on the Polygon network, which is what we were doing master nodes for. We covered on the previous episode, and will be available on the OpenSea NFT platform for 7 days. And each artist will have 50 limited edition cards minted. So if you are interested in celebrating Pride in the most cryptocurrency way possible, by attending a drag show where you get an awesome free limited edition NFT. Check out NFT Tripping Down the Rabbit Hole, and there's the link for it that I just posted in chat. So without further ado, because we have basically like 25 minutes left, let's get into the man himself, John McAfee. He was born in 1945, and he died, unfortunately, recently at the ripe age of 75. As it says here, I'm going to read parts of the Wikipedia article. We're going to kind of jump around a bit. He was a British-American computer programmer, businessman, and two-time presidential candidate. We're going to kind of get into that in a moment. He ran in 2016 and 2020. In 1987, which is probably what he's most famous for, he wrote one of the first, it says the first, but it's one of the first, commercial antivirus software known as McAfee, aka the thing that's installed in every version of Windows, to the point where I wish I had these images still. Someone, if I get these later, I'll bring them up I'll bring them up on a future episode of Crypto Barons. But I was one of the few people back in the day to watch the New Jersey Transit ticket machines reboot randomly, and I happened to have my camera with me, so I took pictures and I loaded up the video, and it was in a boot loop, so I got to go over things multiple times. And not only did I find out that it was at the time, it was using stock Windows XP, like it wasn't using a modified version of Windows XP or like its own custom Linux version. It was just like, you go to the store, you buy Windows XP, that's what you're using. And mind you, Windows 7 just came out. So this was out of date. It was horribly out of date. But on the bootload where it shows up all of the pre-installed programs, they took all of them out except for McAfee antivirus software. So that's literally how much McAfee associates in everything. He eventually resigned in 1994, and he sold his remaining stakes. That's why the McAfee antivirus group and John McAfee himself kind of keep like a crowbar distance from each other. And his main problem with it was all of the bloatware that's notorious for in McAfee, even though he's probably honestly responsible for at least some of that, because the thing he's noticed for doing is just jumping from company to company to company. The other thing he's noted for doing, which I actually am going to probably look up on a search engine real quick, is just saying crazy, just crazy stuff. Let's get to some of the stuff here. So first of all, the man, because we have to look at him honestly, because one of my main problems of when someone dies is that, especially when it comes to crypto guys, like this is going to happen when Elon Musk passed away. Please do that soon. Where everyone kind of like mythologizes the person. It's like, oh my God, like John McAfee was like the best businessman. He was bigger than Bill Gates, and did nothing absolutely wrong and was a complete saint. And like, he revolutionized the world and he saved the universe and crap. And then they completely forget how terrible the person actually also was. So to me, in order to honor someone, we also have to look at a bunch of the bad. And he's just been in and out of so many legal suits over the years. Some of them were the aerotracting Lightsport aircraft venture and the death of Joel Bickenbaugh and the passenger. Also, death follows him around. We're going to get into that in a second. He's also constantly been arrested for driving under the influence, on the influence of what? I don't know. Probably just, it's like John McAfee's whole thing. I'll put it this way. John McAfee is the Keith, Keith, how Keith Richards is to music? That's what John McAfee was to computers. I'm not even saying they're the same talent level. What I'm saying is that they did kind of cool, famous things, I guess, in the past, but like especially midlife all the way to their death or old age, they were just batshit insane and just on like, what substances are you on, McAfee? Yes, that was that dude. He's also notorious for like lying for a bunch of things, which we're going to get into in a second. Um, as I said, one of his lies was on August 11th of last year. He lied that he was arrested in Norway during the COVID-19 pandemic after refusing to replace a lace thong with a more effective face mask. He later tweeted a picture of himself with a bruised eye, claiming it occurred during the arrest. The photo of the alleged arrest showed the officer with the German word police on his uniform, so it could have been Norway. The Asperger police later say he tried to enter Germany on that day, but was not arrested. Man was fucking nuts. Visited DEF CON and Black Hat most of the time. I noticed that from my understanding, he used to do parties for Black Hat, and the reason why Black Hat had him stop doing after parties was that, like, yeah, I'll put it this way, right? Now, even though times have changed, it's Vegas, so you kind of expect him to like especially with his personality, to have a party at a strip club. That wasn't the issue mainly. The issue was the type of women they had there, and also he was so bad at I think 2 or 3 of these parties before he quit that like the strip clubs didn't like him. I didn't even talk about the owners, the strippers, no one liked him because he was that fucked up, out of his mind, out of control, and had no concept of what consent was. So that's probably where most people know him from, like DEF CON and Black Hat, is that type of bullcrap. Probably his biggest weird thing next to his death, and then we're gonna get into some of his cryptocurrency stuff and business ventures, is there was this whole thing where McAfee was a person of interest because basically his neighbor was found shot to death, named Gregory Fall, um, on near McAfee's own island near Belize, because McAfee is that rich and coked up. Um, Again, he was a neighbor, and the thing is, McAfee, uh, again, I support 2A in firearms, but like McAfee, the last thing you want is someone completely high on Molly with like an AR-15 with a bump stock on it, who's completely high on like Molly and 2 kilos of slam. That is one of the last things I ever want to see. And you can just literally describe that by saying McAfee. So there was like suspicion when he came in, and because of this, he's also notorious for like evading the law. And if I remember correctly, when they tried to show up at his place, and they couldn't find him, and then they eventually found him because he tried to Saddam Hussein himself, and he apparently dug a human-sized hole in the sand on his property that was neck height, put himself in it, and then put a bucket over his head. This is like what little kids do at the beach. And they thought he wouldn't find him. And the weird part is, they almost didn't find him. It took them a bit, but they found him. And then he got arrested. There was a whole circus stuff around this. And then we're going to get into his death in a moment, which is its own goddamn circus. But let's kind of, instead of just bashing him all the time, he deserves all that stuff. Let's kind of more look at bits of like what he kind of did, right? So first of all, here's John McAfee's own personal website. It actually took me a while to find it because I'm like, I know the dude has his own personal website. Where the hell is it? And it's just John McAfee was here. It's who is John McAfee.com, because you can't just have like John McAfee.com or John McAfee home.com, whatever. Or what I did one time was I used my legal name and just put .net because, no one cares. And he has his documentary on here, and it just, all of his stuff, which is what he's been doing since after all the privacy and McAfee security stuff. It's all been, what do you call it? It's all been cryptocurrency. And in fact, see, this is what I mean about the guns and stuff. Here we go. So apparently he did leave a suicide note in his pocket, because we're going to kind of get into his death. I'm loading this up in a bit because I will see this later. And unfortunately, I didn't rip that video. We're going to watch a different video. But apparently this does confirm that he did leave a suicide note. No one knows if it's valid or not. We're going to get into that in a moment. But I just want to let you know that he does have a website. And speaking of that, let's kind of talk about this. So what happened is that he apparently evaded paying his taxes, and because he's not useful like the way Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Donald Trump and Bill and Hillary Clinton and the rest of them are, for evading their taxes. Um, he was actually hunted down by the police, and if I remember correctly, he was arrested in Spain at the U.S. Department of Justice, and then he was supposed to be extradited back, and part of this was the fraudulent cryptocurrency pump and dumps. And then uh, on June 23rd, so like literally a couple of days ago, he was apparently found. I don't know the manner of his death. Might have been strangulation. Don't know. Don't want to speculate. But he was essentially found dead, and it's been ruled as suicide. Now, there's again, we now have from his website where it says that there was a suicide note. But there's also been contradictory claims, such as his widow. You can see here looking like a tan piece of leather. Saying that he was not suicidal. And some people have, and I'm not going to put in my 2 cents because honestly I don't really care, but confirm or deny that people wonder if he really did commit suicide. And apparently there's some evidence to suggest that at least before. Now, when you're in deep shit, your mind can change. Okay? Just putting it out there. But apparently before all of this, allegedly from multiple people, including his widow, he wasn't suicidal, and he's apparently famous for saying some sort of quote where he said, if you find me like dead in a jail cell, it wasn't me, like I didn't commit suicide. So there's been speculation that he might have been Epstein, in which basically because of all of his shady connections, again, he evaded U.S. taxes. That says, Trump also did, supposedly. That's the type of person we're dealing with. So maybe outside factors played into his death. I'm not going to say if it is or not because, again, that's a conspiracy theory. I don't know much about it. I don't really have evidence for it. I don't really have stakes in it. I just wanted to bring that up as an aspect of the man because that is current as of recording right now. As of this recording on June 6th, year of our Lord 2021, year one post-COVID, or I would say 6 months post-COVID. 3 months post-COVID. This is still ongoing. So maybe in the future, Crypto Barons will have an update on this, and I'll be able to say on air any of those updates if it was finally fully ruled as a suicide or other factors or whatever. So just putting that out there. So let's kind of talk about some of the other more crazy stuff he's done. And, he's also known, I wish I brought this up like earlier visually for like, especially on Twitter, just saying weird crap. You probably seen our thumbnail preview where he talked about like his opinion on Bitcoin. He's like, I will eat someone's penis if like Bitcoin makes X amount in 3 years. And I think it kind of did, but who knows, because that's a crazy statement. He's also has this whole meme thing. This was a big meme with John McAfee where he was constantly talking about having sex with sperm whales. And no one knows if he was high during those tweets or if, like, he's sober and that's screwed up, or both. Could be both. But that was a whole meme thing. And another crazy meme thing was both times he decided to run for president. What's interesting is he ran in both 2016 and 2020 because everyone was running in 2016 and 2020 just because of how bad all the political stuff is now. And what's kind of fascinating about this is that both times he initially was thinking about doing it's kind of like Trump, he was thinking about doing his own party or running independent. And then both times he decided to try to run for the Libertarian Party and got okay far in. But then when push got to shove near the edge, I'm just looking at an update, near the edge, like his campaigns would fall apart and everything. And in fact, what I kind of have here as a treat, provide it properly loads, because that's been my new issue right now, is that there's been errors because originally I found McAfee's campaign website, and the problem is that I keep trying to load it and nothing comes up. So, we can try here. Okay, so we're in the proper year. Let's go for an earlier one. Let's go for February and see if anything crops up for the snapshot. Because what I'm thinking he's doing is he may have like hosted like a huge chunk of his stuff somewhere. Here we go. Finally, I get this website. This was like the landing page. McAfee, 16, little libertarian, heart with Statue of Liberty, libertarian for president, has a social media down here. So that was the landing page 2015. Let's slowly creep forward. Let's hop all the way to May and see if we get anything. Nope. See, this is what I mean. It's this like we keep getting these like weird 301 errors. God damn it, 301. We're DCG 201. Like we're rivals. We're rival numbers. That's another error. All right, let's go back. Let's try. We're gonna try May 11th. See if anything pops up, or we still get the same error. Yeah, it seems there's a certain point where he turned on his campaign website. I guess he hosted so much stuff on like another web server that's why Wayback Machine unfortunately can't find it. In a future episode, if I find a screenshot of it, I'll host that up. But yeah, unfortunately, while I have the URL and I can give everyone the URL if you want to do your own detective work, I'm unable at this time to bring up what the website originally looked like. But here it is. It is McAfee MCAFEE 16.com. Now we're already like over halfway through this episode. I told you this episode's going to be really goddamn short. So here we go. And he's also noted for developing a bunch of technologies. Everyone probably knows, McAfee Security, which he founded and did for like over 15 years. But he's also developed a lot of other things. One of the big ones is Decentral One. It was originally known under a different name that I can't remember. But this was one of the first apps for Google and iOS, and I guess the new iOS was still in development over here, where he was sick and tired of, like, he was really big up until he died about security on your phone, and particularly the type of access that companies can have to your phone. In fact, he has a story about he literally configured a phone where no one could call in and out, and yet his phone still got hacked because since his plan was on AT&T, AT&T was hacked to such apparently like a low level that any phone that communicates with AT&T, even if there's no traffic on it, was basically compromised. So he's always paranoid about that. Drugs also probably doesn't help either. And so he created a thing that eventually got turned into Central One, that basically it's kind of like Jumbo and these other apps that are free now, where basically it looks at location access and this goes through your apps and sees what permissions they have, and then basically tries to, and like if they do personal info and stuff, and they try to, and then I think it tries to force not share them with entities. But at the base level, at least scans and shows what sort of permissions applications have on your phone, and also like what your apps know about you through your phone. So that's actually a pretty useful thing. Again, the guy's not a fuckhead or anything. It's McAfee. Another thing was he's made so many cryptocurrency companies over the years. One of the big ones was LexCorp, which was sort of like a enterprise level stuff for blockchain. And you'll notice this pattern where he'll start a company and then in like a year or two, he like parts amicably with the company, which is what this post is here for LexCorp. And so there's a lot of these. This was probably the most high profile one, and that's why I chose it, because there's so, like, if you go to the Wikipedia page, there's just so many of these. But an interesting one that a lot of people for some reason don't realize is that he's also focused on making a cryptocurrency and conservative currency platform that is simply known as Ghost. It's the website, because again, he can't have like Ghost.io or Ghostcoin.io. No, he has to have ghostbymcafee.com. You'll notice this pattern where it's like Elon Musk stuff. He really likes to stamp his name on things. So this was a weird sort of venture here. This is him being like going on that bandwagon, honestly 3 years too late when Monero really picked up on speed, security, and scalability. This is apparently a proof of stake coin. We're going to kind of go, here's like the coin market cap for it. Apparently, shockingly for a shitcoin, it's gone up. I don't know if maybe it's gone up. I don't know if it's from like, because it's been like on a huge lull through like most of the year, this year and last year. I don't know if the spike has to do with all the other cryptocurrencies recently dying last month, including Bitcoin, the great crypto crash, or if it has to do with the fact that since McAfee died and his name's attached to it, more people are like investing in it and using it. No idea. But it is kind of on the up and up. But I'm going to read you here some of my notes about kind of what McAfee apparently was trying to do with all this. So according to them, Ghost is a decentralized ecosystem. It was launched early last year with a simple goal, which is basically core privacy. As I said here, transacting privately and anonymously, they think it's a basic human right. Most people believe you're safe to use Bitcoin because it's the first cryptocurrency, or it supposedly has strong privacy features. As you know from our episode last year in September, where we covered privacy-focused coins, you know that that's not true. Bitcoin has a completely, this I'm not even reading notes. Bitcoin is a completely public ledger. Everyone can see your transactions. In a lot of cases, everyone can either know directly or figure out with some very basic detective work that's like baby's first detective work on what you're where you are, like where you are buying from and what you are buying. So apparently Ghost has engineered, McAfee engineered this to obfuscate traffic throughout the network on both the receiver and sender's ends. Let's see here. So they said there's a variety of features that distinguish Ghost's unique code. One of the project's foremost importance is decentralization. So this is actually probably one of the first that I'd probably noticed because I remember when this got posted that really tried to focus on decentralization. And it's using a proof of stake method. Um, and that users apparently have different status levels, and once they get to Ghost Veteran, they have enough coins to be eligible to have bonus rewards on the network. This sounds honestly very similar to what you kind of see with like the Polkadot system and some of the stuff that you receive with masternodes, which again we were supposed to do today, but that didn't happen. It's also using Ring CT, which we also covered in September, all while rolling bulletproofs to discrete to reduce like the gas fees as well as the gas transaction times. Um, so as you can kind of see here, these are all like nice stuff that sounds kind of on paper. And I know that especially now, like this, again, he's kind of late to the table with this. So I think it's kind of this is why this kind of really seems like a cash grab, pun semi intended, because and I'll post the URL in chat because like I know he was like talking about this for like 4 years, and they finally launched it in 2020. And by 2020, again, you have Polkadot, you have you have a robust Monero, you have all these different cryptocurrencies that have Z snarks built in. They're pumping stuff through Tor and I2P. Um, you're running multi-parachain networks. You have Grin with its Mimblewimble system. So he's kind of very late to the party here. There's a whole white paper on here. It has quotes here. A specter is haunting the modern world. The specter of crypto anarchy, apparently by Tim May from the Crypto Anarchy Manifesto. One of these days we're gonna have to sit there and kind of read through that because I think they're more talking about when you say crypto. See, this is McAfee being kind of clever here. He's talking about cryptography. As people say, crypto is cryptography, not cryptocurrency. My favorite saying is that crypto as in crypto Judaism, but that's a whole other thing. There's a long, which we're not going to go through, is a whole abstract, long, 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 I forgot how many pages, 40-page, which I'll post in chat, the PDF, 40-page white paper on John McAfee's insanity of being late to the party for security-based coins. And lastly, which by the way, in addition to Polygon, which we didn't get to, you can also see this if you're on Twitch. You can go and I'm going to post this in the chat in a moment. I'm actually going to post this right now. But you can actually go in and you can, there we go. We actually have a little thing, a little widget at the bottom that has our GitHub, and you can go and click on that, and that'll open it in a completely new tab or window, so you can still watch the live stream while you follow along. But this is Ghost Core. It's mainly built in C++. There's a strap-on with C on there, strap-on Python, M4 shell, makefile. Basically, this is like John McAfee's brain. Just replace all of the programming language with drugs. Like he's probably like C++. You could probably 64-80%. Yeah, it's cocaine. C is some Molly. Python is some Slam, M4 is some mushroom. You can do that. And of course, there's one of the contributors has a Hunter S. Thompson logo. That's hilarious. But yeah, this is sort of like the whole core system here, and we can look at the code for a little bit. So it seems like while it's built in C++, I think the execution for the code, like the shell it's wrapped in, is Python. So, and they probably did that because C is really annoying, especially with make files, which will heat up your computer. To Here comes GI Jack coming home. In order to like build, so they probably wrapped it in Python to build it just to make everything easier for everyone. And that's basically our episode. I'm gonna kind of end the episode here with a fun video. Um, and during this video, we're going to drop off a bunch of lemons and then stick around for like 3 or so minutes after the video ends. You're going to hear some music. We're going to go raid another person's stream. And again, I'm sorry for such a short episode. We've been having absolute insanity here at DCG 201 with our own members, the people who like farm the land on this. And apparently we got a new follow. Did we get a new follow? Because the counter jumped up. And I guess the bot didn't work. So whoever followed us and got us to 96, so now we have 4 followers left for D-Live. Thank you for that follow. I'll recently reach out to you on D-Live and congratulate you for the follow. So thank you. Now we only have 4 left to go to Cryptocurrency Superstar. But yeah, we've just been having a crazy time between me, GI Jack, Cell, and Commander, and a bunch of other stuff. You've probably seen N Commander's gone way off the deep end with all the weird hacks he's been doing. So, we're still trying to work out some live stream stuff, but we are going to get back to form. Start literally as soon as July starts, we're gonna have all sorts of things. I believe, and I have to talk with them a bit. We're trying to get Archvile to come back. We're gonna have probably 2 episodes of Circuit Breakers because I want to do one, and Cyril has a new idea for one. And those happens on certain Wednesdays. And again, there's no Master of Unlocking tomorrow. The Master of Unlockings will be 4th of July, patriotic. I can't think of anything more patriotic than Unlocking Locks, and the 18th. And the next Crypto Barons episodes will be on the 10th and the 24th, back at its normal time at 8 p.m. So yeah, thank you. I'm going to go to Facecam now. Thank you again for watching Crypto Barons. Again, if you like the content, you can see even when we're not streaming, you can hit that bell on YouTube. Make sure you get the notifications and follow us on there, as well as Twitch and DLive, as someone just recently did. And if you're more interested in stuff, and I'm going to post these links in chat, you can go to our website as Jack slowly dies of asphyxiation because it's really hot outside. I'm like, you have no idea how much I'm sweating balls right now, but it's at defcon21.org. And then here's kind of the link to our social media, so stick around. I'm going to switch back to the previous screen and play a cool video. It's be about 10 to 12 minutes long on John McAfee to kind of sum it up. And then we're going to go raid some stream on Twitch. And then during that, we're going to pump some lemons out to you all on DLive, especially since we got that follow. I'm going to do a decent amount. So again, thank you for watching Crypto Barons with the Real Blockchain. I'm Sidepocket. I'm one of the 2 co-founders of DCG 201. Hope to see you on our next episode next month in July, where we really get back into streaming and get back into person meetups. Tech. Oh, here we go. Tech Bergamanter. You're the one who followed. Thank you so much for that follow. I don't know why I missed the notification. It was supposed to beep and stuff. That didn't work. Again, I hope to see you at our future streams. You can check out our website for that sort of schedule. That's it for our show today. Hack the planet. Dirty Jersey represent. Remember, we just want June to end. Please, just let it. It's only a couple more days left. It's Pride and it's awesome and stuff, and we're enjoying that. But just this whole thing's been nuts. Just let us get to July, and we can go back to the hacks and snacks. Enjoy the video, everyone. Peace.
is this possible?
A computer virus.
Sorry, I didn't realize the audio was off this entire time, so we have an extra couple more minutes here.
clear
It's
from
about
the
10 minutes
start.
long.
What are you going for? One of everything.
Charismatic
All right, so this is Scott.
and outrageous,
I am the tequila master of this planet.
John McAfee
Are you sure you've got enough, John?
has a very well-stocked bar
We've moved on to gin.
I'll take it. Thank you.
and an unquenchable thirst for life.
Champagne.
So now we've moved seamlessly on to vodka. Now, is that it?
I think we're done.
What's it like being John McAfee?
Well, I doubt that you would want to walk in my shoes for more than 24 hours.
Walking in the shoes of hard-drinking, pistol-packing renegade John McAfee is exactly what I'm about to do.
I sleep with a pistol in my hand.
And in the space of a day, the eccentric computer genius
Let's run back inside.
and accused killer covers a lot of ground.
Gee, you've had a fascinating life, haven't you?
I don't know, it seems normal to me.
International fugitive, you've run for president, you're the king of cybersecurity. This is not a normal life.
The normal life should be doing what you damn well please, and I do what I damn well please.
And doing what McAfee damn well pleases begins the moment he sits down.
You're going to be smoking during this interview?
I don't know what the Australian attitude towards smoking is, and quite frankly, I don't care, because I am going to smoke. All
I
right?
get the sense that you sort of make your own rules and that's how it is. We're in your home.
You asked me for the interview. I didn't ask you.
These days, McAfee lives in a fortified mansion at a location he insists we keep secret. He's building his second fortune, this time as the king of cryptocurrency.
The Pandora's box has been opened.
Everybody's going, oh, I wish I'd gotten in on Bitcoin at the beginning. This is the beginning.
McAfee made his first fortune in the 80s. He was a young and talented computer programmer who worked out a way to tackle the world's first computer virus.
So I read this and I go, whoa, how is this possible?
A computer virus is a program written by a hacker.
And then it dawned on me how they did it. I go, wow, that's brilliant. And then instantly it dawned on me, well, you could do this to stop it. So I wrote a little program.
How long did it take you to write?
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, 6 months later, I had $30 million.
McAfee software became the global standard for antivirus security
McAfee may help you.
and a goldmine for him.
How did that change your life?
And my wife bought bigger houses and Mercedes, and the garages kept getting bigger, and we had more staff. But other than that, I was doing what I loved, like I always have. The joy doesn't come from the money or the stuff; it comes from what you do.
McAfee embarked on a life of luxury and extremes, which eventually took him to the Central American nation of Belize.
I was going to just fish, a boat, scuba dive, lay in the sun on the beach, and enjoy myself.
He surrounded himself with the things he likes best: drugs, guns, and girls. Lots of girls.
You had 7 women on the go at one time.
I would go over to the mainland to visit my jungle property, and I'd come back in the evening, and all 7 would have cooked dinner for me, right? Now, come on. So what do you do?
Did you have 7 dinners?
Yeah, I have 7 dinners, all right? So
How much
devious all
weight
the-
did you put on having to eat 7 dinners every night?
Well, I lost it trying to service them all. So it was, it's not the heaven that people think. It's seriously a nightmare.
In Belize, McAfee won favour with locals by donating weapons to the police and computers to the government. But his idyllic life in the tropics came to a crashing halt when his neighbour, Gregory Fall, was murdered, shot dead the day after a bitter dispute with McAfee over his incessantly barking dogs.
He didn't like my dogs, that was clear. The dogs didn't like him.
That night, your 9 dogs were poisoned.
And that night, Gregory Fall was murdered.
That very next night. It's the timing people can't get their head around, isn't it?
Well, please God, what maniac. After someone had murdered your dogs, you suddenly, the very next day, murder them? Please God. anybody would be smarter than that.
Did you get away with murder?
No, I did not do murder. This is, let me make this perfectly clear. I had nothing whatsoever to do with the murder of Gregory Paul.
But McAfee didn't hang around to answer any questions.
Do you know who this is?
He fled, claiming he'd been framed because he'd put spy software in those computers he donated to the government,
My name is John McAfee.
which revealed ties with the ruthless Sinaloa drug cartel.
I have absolute proof.
McAfee encouraged the media to cover his crazed life as a fugitive.
John McAfee is joining us now by telephone.
My life has become a little more intense.
How frightening for you was it, that period on the run?
Well, it's tense, that's for sure. It was touch and go. The evidence surfaced afterwards that the Prime Minister had ordered that I was to be brought back in a not living condition.
McAfee finally surfaced in Guatemala,
How many people at the checkpoint?
where he was arrested.
John, where are you going?
To jail.
And then faked a heart attack to avoid extradition back to Belize. It worked.
John McAfee has been granted a stay of deportation to Belize.
McAfee was sent home to the US instead, where his life remains, well, complicated. Take his second wife, Janice, who he met under unusual circumstances.
She was a prostitute, a working girl. The smartest woman I've ever met, undoubtedly. The most devious woman I've ever met as well.
So devious, he reckons, that she secretly agreed to help the Sinaloa drug cartel silence him.
Janice tried to kill you?
Yes, she tried to kill me for 3 years. I mean, she got paid a lot of money by these people.
Yeah.
She would do things like leave the bedroom door unlocked, put things in my food, things like that.
Remarkably, Janice, the would-be assassin, is still his wife.
She confessed everything. But that's a small thing. A wife trying to kill you is not so bad. I mean, there are worse things a wife can do, trust me.
Even here at his mansion, McAfee is on edge, perhaps unhinged.
Let's run back inside.
Yeah, sure.
I'm allergic to this.
He's worried the drug cartel and the Belize government are still after him.
I hacked the Belizean government for 5 months. And I have all of that data. Tens of thousands of hours of recordings and videos of the Prime Minister ordering the murder of his competitors, of gang members he didn't like.
So, to protect himself, McAfee has an armed bodyguard,
This is my good friend Jimmy.
ex-Navy SEAL Jimmy.
You know, my only job in the world is to save his life, to protect him at all costs.
Talk me through this, John. What's going on here?
Okay. It's loaded, so be careful.
It's loaded, so be careful.
It's got just a laser. If you can see the laser on the wall.
Right, okay.
Light plus laser, light without laser. Then you've got the retractable stock. I can go through a door sideways through this thing, right? Try that with an AR-15 or an AK-47. You can't do that. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be rushing into the McAfee kitchen anytime soon.
Well, you know, it's not me. It's these guys you need to worry about.
McAfee trusts no one. His paranoia even extends to food and drink.
If you offered me anything, a drink, a French fry, I would refuse it. I don't take any food from anybody.
Really?
I cook my own.
Well, you're not going to like my gift. I bought you an Australian bottle of wine and some Australian Tim Tams.
I'll have my security team examine it to see. No, really.
So we'll have to get the Tim Tams and the Barossa Valley wine examined by your security detail?
Everything that I put in my mouth is examined.
You can't help thinking John McAfee enjoys the drama. This is a man who's always lived life on the edge. The reckless world he inhabits suits him down to the ground.